Good morning, folks. This is Janie from Graham's Backyard Living, and I'm coming on here today just to kind of give you an update what we did over the weekend, some of the things that I got done, and some of the things I didn't get done. But we'll just move on. So I wanted to show you. First of all, people were asking, like, they're getting their bell peppers in right now, what to do with them. They're getting overloaded with them. So let me show you what I did. So I'm getting these little bell peppers, and see there's a jalapeno in there. I have a friend who likes fermented hot. So I had one jalapeno, one really good hot jalapeno. I sliced them up and put at least 3 or 4 slices in each. And these are those little peppercine, those little bell peppers. I forgot, baby bells or something like that. So I had tons of bell peppers. I still have tons of bell peppers coming in. So I did a brine of vinegar, equal parts of vinegar, water, and then if you want the sweet, the 3 tablespoons of sugar, a tablespoon of salt, and then you can see I added some pepper flakes. And let's see, this one has some pepper flakes, and then the peppercorn, and then a leaf of garlic, a garlic clove in each one. You gotta forgive me, folks. It's Monday morning. Oh man, and it's hot outside. If you can see, I still got my little small shirts on. I've got a hat on because we're gonna go outside here in a few minutes. But my egg. The girls are doing great. I got 3 there. They're doing great with their egg production. But I told you I was gonna have like the kids do some filming of me and stuff like that. But we got wrapped up in kind of having a discussion, I guess. My daughter's having a hard time with them respecting their teachers. Teenagers, they think they know it all. And of course, I haven't called or checked back with her again to see if they ever want to come back and see Grandma again. But sometimes you got to sit down with your kids and explain to them, teachers, that's not an easy job. And they don't want to be there making your life difficult. And my grandson, who has the hardest time, He don't want to go to school. He don't want to, I think he's like 13 now. He don't want to go to school. He don't want to, he thinks he knows more than what the teachers know. And so I sat down and had a talk with him. I said, the teacher is not there for her health. Teachers are paid very little. And I had to explain to him, I said, in today's times, a teacher has to walk into an environment wondering if she's going to get stabbed today. If a gunman's going to come in and do some shooting. I know that's crazy, and that's really way off in left field, but it's teachers' reality today, and a lot of teachers are getting out of teaching because of all those fears of that. And I told him, if nothing else, you had best respect your teachers. At least try and grasp what they're telling you, and don't make life difficult. I try to explain to these teenagers that my daughter's a more or less a single mom. When she has them, she shares custody with her ex-husband. But there are times that she is just so beside herself because it's like dragging these two. She has the girl and the boy, like dragging them through mud, and it's hard enough. And I said, you all need to take care of your mother. You all need to, do laundry. And I had them out here. I'll show you what she helped me. Lucy helped me in the bed and turning all of the beds. And they just need some discipline. And that's what I told them. You need discipline. You need structure. If nothing else, that's what school is teaching you. Look at that sunshine behind me. You got a glimpse of it there. And it's hot and ugh. But anyway, that was a long teaching lesson this weekend. I had Josh weed eating and mowing and him, I can't do this, and I don't know how to work. I said, figure it out. You sit there and you figure it out. You're not going to give up. That. You are not going to give up, and you're not going to have somebody come do it for you. You have to have the kids understand that if you're given a task, you're going to complete that task, and you need to figure it out. And it wasn't difficult things I gave him to do, how to advance the string. And I was trying to show him the first time, and he just walked off. And my daughter says that's what he does all the time. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, I don't know how to do this. Well, I tried to explain to you how to do this. So anyway, that was a lot of the weekend, was a lot of talking to, and a lot of trying to get them to understand that all of these tasks that mom gives them, or I'm trying to get them to do, and my daughter sent them to me for the weekend. See if you can do anything with them. Well, it's not going to be a weekend. I wish they live about an hour away. And that's the thing. If you have a desire to get onto a farm and work the farm, you will see, I mean, the difference in the kids. You know, my parents didn't have a farm, but they had, I've got to find some shade. They didn't have a farm, but they had, we had greenhouses. And back in the day, Kmart's, I don't know if anybody still has Kmart's or not. This is wonderful shade right here, but I'm going to have to do a lot of cutting on this tree right here. If you can see, this branch right here is hanging in my face, and I don't like anything touching my head. But anyway, I guess I work, you know, sometimes we supplied, anyway, Kmart, we supplied all of like the mums that you see in the nursery. So this was in New Mexico. So we went all the way down to El Paso, Las Cruces, and we had trucks going and coming, all the poinsettias, all your Easter lilies. We used to have 20 acres under greenhouse, what they call Quonset huts. So it was greenhouse after greenhouse after greenhouse. And then my mom and my sister worked the flower shop. So, you know, they did weddings and just had supply, you know, stuff, whatever a flower shop does. But, and our house was attached to the flower shop part. So, and then greenhouses all the way around it. So I was right there living on the business. But sometimes at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, if we had to get up and unload a truck would show up from California or down in from Brownsville, Texas. We would have stuff that would come up. Everybody got up and unloaded the truck, or if a truck was coming in to do a pickup, we loaded up trucks. And I could remember like the all of the poinsettias and the Easter lilies and stuff were on, make sure I'm not covering that microphone, were on sleeves up, and I can remember barely being tall enough to pick up that plant to carry them to the truck. But I was required to get up just like all my other, I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. And just like the rest of the family, I was required to get up and help load trucks and, you know, get them back on the road and stuff like that. So there was my discipline. I had to work the business. You know, I came in after school and changed out my clothes, and I could go play for a little while. But come afternoon, evening time, I would fill pots with soil. And that's what I was telling the kids. You know, I got paid 15 cents a pot, filling a pot, and 350 pots went on a pallet. So I had to be there filling a pallet. So I'd add them all up at the end of the day, and I would get my, you know, 10, 15, 20 bucks, however many pots I could fill. But those pots were very much needed, because then they went out to the greenhouse, and the next day they were all used up with stuff that was potted, and that was our business. And I rode on trucks. I went to the Kmart's, and so happy. I knew one of the managers knew me by the time I went to high school, and that was my first job, was working in Kmart. I got hired there to work in Kmart because they knew my family. But that was my discipline, and I explained that a lot to the kids. And one, Lucy's 15, and she says, yeah, a lot of my friends already have jobs. Okay, well, why don't you? I don't know. So I was very frustrated over the weekend, and I was about ready to pull my hair out. But anyway, hopefully I made a little bit of an impact. I need to call my daughter works night, so I got to find a time to call her or whatever and find out if the kids learned anything or if it went over their head. And I wish I could grass them, throw them out on 20 acres of land and have their attention constantly and have them working constantly. Oh my gosh, that's the biggest spider. I wonder if I could get it on film. But so anyway, I didn't get a whole lot of filming done. I made them work, and I said, if you all want some lunch, I'm gonna make a big pot of spaghetti, and if you all want some lunch, you're gonna finish the tasks that I give you to do. Let me see if I can get it on film. Well, I'm glad he's over on the other side of the fence out in the field. So this is the fence here. So I'm going to zoom back out. So that's the field. But anyway, I'm just kind of learning to grasp this heat. And this time, I think, what's today? September 30th. So they're saying the first frost date is like October 15th. So I still have a couple of more weeks. But I got a bunch of this, the beds amended and ready. And I've got carrots planted here. I got all of my onions planted here. So what I'm going to do, I plan on removing that white raised bed over there, and this one is so cramped right here. I just hate digging out all the soil, but there's not a whole lot in there. It really disappears. And this is kind of like my potting bench right here. Of course, we had those high winds and stuff, and I've got to come through and clean all that. But it's hard for me once I have something planted to walk through here. So I'm thinking about turning this one, like I did that one down there, long ways, and putting this one up there. So that's a project my husband's going to have to help me with. We'll see if we can get it done or not. But the peppers up here, they're blooming. They're putting on peppers. And I'm thinking this is, of course, I'll grow these in the summertime. But I've had to move these up here, and the chicken's digging through this bed all the time. So I tried to put some camouflage in there to quit them digging. But look at that. So I've got peppers coming on. The birds are singing. It's nice and hot. So I am gonna get some peppers. I don't know if you can see all of them, and I don't know what this is, but pepper here, pepper there, pepper blooms. So this screen that I put up, so I had to go about 2 more foot. So I'm 4 foot, 2 more foot, and that's pretty much taking care of them. And all I have to do is this one corner. So it went all the way to the fence here, all the way here. And like I said, I'm going to finish that out over there. I didn't quite get it finished this weekend like I was wanting to do. But I got this bed, all onions. My onions and my carrots haven't done really great over the last couple years. So I'm going to dedicate some space just solely to some carrots and some onions and give them the space that they need instead of thinking I got to cram everything. So here's everybody just chilling. Ate their breakfast. Now they're all going to chill in the shade. Good morning, everybody. And all the others are probably working. Let's see if they're working back here. Here's 2 of my old ladies still pecking away. So I throw their feed over here in the grass so they can scratch and scratch and scratch it up. That really helps aerate some of my grass. So I still have this mess to clean up. No, ain't nobody back here. Huh. I don't know where they're all hiding at. As long as they're not in the garden, they're good. It's good, all good. Guess that must be everybody. And one my old raggedy girl. She must have found her little pile of bugs. But I tried to wear my hair down, and I don't think I've ever told anybody this. I've got the stringiest, baby fine hair, and I don't like it touching my ears. I think I will this winter when it gets a little bit cold. But I was out here a little bit earlier with my hair hanging down, and it started tickling my ears. I'm like, nope, it's got to go up. So I got it up, got my hat on, and then here's my Brahma pen. Hey there, girls and boys. There's my Scooter. How you doing, Scooters, this morning? Everybody fat and happy that ate breakfast? And you can hear my other pen. Eggs are being laid. So, I think I just, like I was saying, I'm embracing this weather right now, because I'm thinking, if you look on the packages of like your seeds and stuff, germination date and maturity date, you have 55 days, 75 days. You can do quick onions that I could plant now and probably harvest before January. But look at my peppers, they're doing so awesome. So once I got all the out of this bed that was overtaking the beds, this is where, and I still have, and I'm going to let them go for a little while. I don't know if you can see them but in the camera, but these are just loaded with bell peppers. And I'm going to have a lot more bell peppers. Just letting them sit out here, soaking up the sun. But see, I cleaned this whole bed out. I got it all amended. And like I said, I was going to put the straw around the edge. And then I've got perlite. And I got a pepper right there that wasn't able to come out. I got perlite, which is a, I don't know what to explain perlite. Perlite is like it stays in like a little rock form. And so that gives me the aeration, keeps the soil light, just like sand would. But like I said, I can't carry sand, so I ordered the perlite. And then this other is vermiculite. So if you look up vermiculite, it's a sponge, like a sponge. And then I have all that mixed in and that on the top. So it's going to be able to soak, the perlite lets the water go down into the soil. And then the vermiculite soaks it up and holds water there. So I don't have to water as much on these raised beds. But I got onions planted all in here. Bell pepper plant there, nice bell peppers. And I cut a bunch of bell peppers off of there. And there's my little pepper plant. I'm going to leave that in the pot and move it in this winter and winter it over. So here I've got my cauliflower. It's coming up really good. I got those plants planted. I got me a bed of lettuce planted, and of course my basil. My basil leaves right there. I cut that way down. And here he is busting. You can't open the gate. The chickens will come out. If I don't put that string up, he just busts right through the gate. He's like a teenager. He knows no boundaries. He just does what he wants to do, and we'll give him his privacy right now. But the basil, I got a bunch of it in the dehydrator, like I said, and I'm going to make my basil salt. And then these are these little peppers. And I remember eating these as a child out of the jar. They'd just give me the jar. And that's what I'm trying to copy, is that sweet. And it's a sweet pepper. And I'm trying to copy that, I guess, memory, or that, there's one. But they are very fragile this time of year. And if you go through, you start breaking a lot of the plants off, and this one's coming out here. So I got all the tomatoes cleared off of there. So, and then this plant took off. But here is my bed of, and the same treatment with the terralite and the vermiculite. And I got my cabbages planted in amongst my my garlic. I'm really, really happy with my garlic germination because I think everywhere I planted a garlic head, I've got germination. And this will basically stay here all winter. And because it's down below, it has a little lip. It's going to protect it from the wind and the in the really cold. And a couple years ago, I did I did Brussels sprouts, which went all winter long, grew here all through the winter, even through, we had some really bad ice storms. Come on. And I remember I tried to put plastic over it, but all it did was collapse. Leave them alone. Go lay down. I put plastic over it to kind of protect them because I thought I needed to protect them or whatever. And the ice was collapsing down on the plastic. So I just pulled the plastic off and they did fine. And I harvested them and they were starting to get buggy. So I really didn't know if Brussels sprouts would do good, how long I should keep them. But I did get one good clipping in the spring of Brussels sprouts, and I tried to leave them, but they started getting really buggy, so I had to end up pulling them. But I'm still working with that, still learning what works with our climate, and that's all you can do is just try it, see what works with your climate. And of course, we don't know from year to year, are we going to have a bad winter? Are we going to have, I've seen 3 feet of snow out here before, and my husband out on the side-by-side in his younger years, doing donuts in the front yard. But we've had snow, we've had ice, and then we've had winters that really didn't hardly do anything. So it's just a hit and miss on what we're gonna get. But so I got those are really the only 2 brassicas I got going, and that's all we really eat. I was looking at the Brussels sprouts, I got them in there, and I'm questioning on whether I even want to plant those or mess with them or not. But I've got that's a lot for me to dig out all that, because I've got to take the dirt out of the small bed, I got to take the dirt out of the soil out of the other bed, I've got to disconnect and I want the arch to go over where you walk into the garden. So all of that's got to be taken apart and kind of redone, I think, to not maximize my space. But those above, I'm not really thinking here in this area. Those raised beds are good for like smaller areas, or somebody was going to do a small garden. I might even give, I bought my daughter one, but I might give that to my granddaughter. So all in all, when we were talking, she's like, she wanted to know more about gardening, and she was more interested in growing her food. Now, this is somebody who scraped the lettuce off of her taco, who doesn't eat no fruits or vegetables. But I'm thinking if she would grow them herself, that may change. That's things, you think about with these kids. Like I said, if I could get her out on a farm. But I did buy her a galvanized planter bed, but I think I'm going to take this raised bed. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give her this raised bed, and she was asking about herbs and how to know when to grow all that and stuff. And they're very intelligent kids. They're just so socially, I don't know, they want to withdraw, and all they want to do is Nintendo, is it a Nintendo Switch, whatever that Switch is. Can I play my Switch? Can I play my Switch? No. I said, and you ask one more time and I'm going to throw it in the pool, and it's going to be sitting at the bottom of the pool. No electronics. So I took her phone away from her, and he didn't get out of there. Look at him. Here he is again, trying to dig. That's the chicken's bathing area. But I said, got rid of the electronics, and I said, they're restricted anyway because they've been getting in so much trouble and being so disrespectful to their mom. that they're only supposed to have it at night when they went to bed. Well, when they went to bed, when I was going to bed, they went to bed because they were tired. But when I went to bed, I went in and collected their electronics. So they got a little time on their electronics and stuff. And that should be a reward. Even though I finally had to have my husband go work with him with the weed eater, because I said, I tried to explain it to you once and you walked away from me. So, and I told him, I love you guys. I want to see you succeed, but you have no discipline and you have no respect for other people. And there's other projects that I want to do. My two girls, I took them when they were really young. They felt like they weren't getting the right Christmas gifts or they weren't having the right things. And my girls never complained or anything. And of course, when I raised them, we didn't have no electronics. So that wasn't even a battle. But I took them one Christmas, we went and worked at the church. They didn't really have homeless shelters then, or, that fed people or whatever. It was the church that fed people. And we did either Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. I can't remember. And we helped serve the people that came in. And I explained to them about, and they went around and see if people needed water, and the pitcher of water to pour pitchers of water and stuff. And they were pretty young. And that was just a learning experience for them to understand, how to respect your home. Because there's not a lot of people. There are some people out there that don't have a home. And that's what I was trying to explain to the kids, that there are people, if your mom got real sick or got hurt or was in the hospital or something, you may not have a home the next week. So, weed eating, mowing, that is all part of, taking care of your home. Doing laundry, she goes, my mom, she does it. And I got on to my daughter too. I taught both of them how to be independent and how to think for themselves, do their own laundry by the time they were 15, 16 years old. And why, and my frustration is, why did you not pass this on to your kids? So, it was a battle this weekend. But like I said, if I could get them out somewhere and give them skills and teach them about where their food comes from. Remember I told you about the planes. Of course, I hadn't heard a plane all day until right now. But how to, where your food comes from and how much work it is. They love my spaghetti sauce. They love the broth. They love the eggs. But to learn how to, and of course, now Lucy's like, well, how do you raise chickens? I said to know how. Well, he busted this gate open again. How do you raise chickens? You need to know how to raise chickens. What if the grocery store, of course, they could never fathom the grocery store being non-existent, to where, what if eggs weren't available? Well, we just wouldn't eat eggs. That's my grandson's answer. We just eat other food. Yeah, what if there was no other food? You're digging holes again, boy. But I remember one time when I didn't garden and stuff, and I worked a full-time job. So I had a certain day that I would get up, and I worked night shift too. So I'd get up, get ready, and I'm going to go shopping that day. Well, we needed water, like bottled water, and of course, the groceries got down low or whatever, and I was almost out of gas. So I get in the car, I drive down to the little town that I shop at and stuff, and it's dark, and it looks strange because none of the lights were on or anything, and none of the signs, everything was out. The street light was out, so I couldn't figure out what was going on. So went to the grocery store. They said their pumps are shut down or something. A transformer blew up, and the whole town had no power. So I said, well, then I'll have to go to the next town over to get gas. But then I went down the road, didn't even think nothing about it. Go to the grocery store. The grocery store is signs up temporarily closed due to a power outage. So I couldn't even buy groceries. So I'm like, that was a real eye-opening experience to know I could not get no gas to get anywhere. May I help you? What are you talking? What? You want to say good morning? Say good morning. Hello, everybody. That's a pretty girl, but she's a mean girl. She picks on everybody. And I don't care if you're a beautiful black copper marin, a blue copper marin, and you're so beautiful and you're going to have wonderful babies and wonderful eggs. I'm going to have to tie you to a tree or something. Quit being so mean with everybody. You heard me. But that was just a real gasping moment, I guess, for me to think I couldn't buy gas to go anywhere. Couldn't buy no food. All of the grocery store. So if you don't have a register, they can't ring up your food. So you can't buy any. And that was just, the kids just don't think about that. April 27th, I can't remember what year it is. Was it 2013, 2014, something like that? Anyway, I was working full time, and that's when we had the tornado that took out parts of the areas, and then the next town that I worked over, all of the electricity was out, and they were trying to repair them and stuff. We were without power, electricity here for 4 days. Well, we got a generator. Our generator was going. I cooked all of my meals outside. I was going to the gym at my job and taking a shower and stuff. Well, after the second day, we're like, why don't we just pull the camper up out onto the driveway and hook it up, the propane, and I can take showers out there. I don't know why we didn't think of that. But anyway, right after that, we got electricity back on and stuff like that. But we went 4 days on a generator, on the refrigerator and on the deep freezer, keeping everything cold and keeping our refrigerators going. But we have solar panels now. We're on solar, so the whole kitchen and all the refrigerators and everything switches over to solar power, emergency solar power, if our power happens to go out. We haven't had to test it. I don't want to ever test it, but I don't know how many days we could go. Well, I guess it recharges in the daytime. So, and then we have a big that should run those, should be able to recharge and keep everything running is what they tell us. We've never tested it, so hope I never have to. But those are things that I try and explain to these kids, and these kids don't understand today that there could be where you don't drive down to the convenience store, you don't drive down to the grocery store, and for whatever reason they could never fathom that the grocery store would be shut down and would not allow you to buy groceries or food. And so my granddaughter was really interested, so enough so that I'm hoping I can get her, so at her house, get her a couple planter boxes, let her do a couple of tomatoes, some peppers, and let her start experiencing that. And then she was asking about, well, how do you raise chickens? How do you take care of chickens? So I gave her all of the YouTube videos, and they watched some with me there that afternoon. There this afternoon, we watched, of course, the Eddy Family Farm, the 5 Acre Farm, who else? The Walkers. So we watched the Walkers, and I gave her, so she wrote all of those down, because they sit and watch YouTube all day long. So I said, well, instead of, I don't know what you watch. Of course, my grandson thinks he knows it all because he saw it on YouTube. But my granddaughter's a little bit older. She's a little bit more mature. So she started looking at all these things and started questioning me. So I hope we had a good learning experience, and I hope that kind of planted some ideas in her head as far as, where their food comes from, how much work it takes, how to have discipline, and how to have respect for others. Those are the main I guess, lessons that I want to be teaching. And of course, I told her to join my Facebook page and my YouTube videos and watch my YouTube videos. And she's like, well, yeah, I just never, I talked to her a couple of times about doing it. She's like, oh, yeah, but I just never did that. I said, well, after this weekend, either they'll embrace kind of what I said, or they'll never want to come back here again. But had them help with the pool, get all the pool toys broke down and stuff. I said, you all swim in the pool, and you all enjoy the pool. So guess what? You're going to help weed eat around the pool. You're going to help take all the pool toys down. We're getting ready to close up the pool for the winter. And I said that's part of, and he was complaining about how long it takes to get the air out of the pool toys and stuff, and my husband told him, you better suck it up or you'll never swim in our pool again. And that's just, that's some of the tough love that we dish out in little spurts, because I don't know what happened with parents today. Parents don't have that, you're going to do this, or the consequences are you're not going to eat. You want to eat. And that's a thing about the farm. If they didn't want to get up and take care of the farm, or help with the farm chores and stuff, guess what? You don't eat that day. You don't help collecting the eggs, cleaning out the chicken coop, whatever needs to be done with the chickens. You don't get no eggs. You don't get no breakfast that morning. So, having them in a closed environment like that, I think I could really work with them. But I don't know that would ever happen or ever get to do that. And I don't get to see them enough to think that I make an impact. So we'll see. I got to talk to my daughter and we'll see. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and let you all know the grass is slowing down growing. And even though I don't have to mow the grass, I still love getting the green clippings and stuff to add to my compost bin. And those are filling up nicely. I'll be able to top everything off in the spring, because and so what I do is, with the electric lawnmower, like I showed you in my last video, I mow up all the leaves. It chops them up for me nice and fine. I dump them in my compost bin, which is wonderful. I used to have to rake them and bag them and pick them up in the past by hand, manually. But that just mows it up. I just take the bag and dump it. It's wonderful to be able to collect all those leaves, and they go right into the compost bin. Keeps my yard, keeps them in a golf course. Like I said, they have a golf course out here that they get to enjoy in their area. But I keep it cleaned up as much as possible. But the grass is slowing down growing, so I can concentrate on other things. Finish the bell peppers, and hopefully I'm going to grow them as long as I can. And of course my onions, my garlic, and my brassicas will be growing all winter long. And we'll see what kind of broccoli heads I get and what kind of cauliflower heads I get. And the other one, the Veggie Boys, I have them. If you haven't seen them, it's just mesmerizing to see them go pick all of that beautiful, beautiful vegetables and stuff. And that's what I strive for. I wish I had a little bit of land to be able to put everything in the ground and to be able to grow some of the beautiful fruit like they grow. But my bell peppers, I'll give them a run for their money on my bell peppers. Boy, my bell peppers are coming on. And then my chili peppers, I gave up on them this spring and summer, but they're really starting to come on right now. And I'm really beginning to think that if I do a planting in July, and these have been growing, they were just crowded out, and just find the place to be able to plant them. But July, August, September, October, so that'll give me a good 3 months. It's just hit and miss and figuring out where what to plant and when you can get the best harvest. So they're doing great right now. So if they grow all summer and I give some place for them to grow, they'll do great. And I'll just concentrate. So like I'm thinking I'm going to split it up so I'm not so overwhelmed. In the springtime, I'll do the cucumbers, the pickling cucumbers, and tomatoes, of course. and have areas for those, and then have all my other stuff like my carrots and my onions and all of those starting in the fall and through the winter. I think I can split up my growing season, so that means I'm going to be growing year round, but it's not going to be so overwhelming, I guess. So I think that's what I'm gonna work on, and let you look at my girls while I say goodbye. I want to thank everybody. If you're the first time checking out my videos and going on my journey, if you can like and share and get people to subscribe, I would love to get a lot more subscribers. I appreciate everybody that does follow me, and hope to just grow my channel and leave this for my grandkids is basically what I started out this channel for. But I hope you like my content and getting to share some time with you and share my experiences, and just to let people know you don't have to have 50 acres or 100 acres. This is my small 3/4 of a backyard plus a little bit of my side garden. And then I have going on 50 chickens, and I'm doing my breeding program. So here's and this side is my Brahmas. The other side is my Easter eggers for my eggs. And then over in the far pen is my olive eggers and my cream leg bars. And then in the little pen, I've got lavender Orpington and one Americana over there. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them. I do have a rooster and a couple of hens. If I'm going to do that as an exclusive breed or not, or if I'm going to move them over here with the Brahmas. So I have lavender Orpington Brahmas. So we'll see. That'll be in the spring, and I'll see what I'm going to do. But here's my girls and my boys just pigging out. There's my little girl. Where did Scooter go? I didn't see where Scooter's over there. And here, this boy. What's in there, boy? He starts look, he was digging over there. So then they go over there and they start digging. Did you dig him up any worms for him? Did he dig you up any worms? It's my pretty girl, my pretty boy, or this one, I don't know. If you all know if that's a boy or a girl, that's a rooster or hen, let me know. It's questionable. Because this right here is a hen, and see how light. And I'm hoping those three are hens. And that's one of my little black copper marins. And this is just a straggly rooster that didn't go anywhere else. I think it's either rooster or hen. This is another one I'm not sure about. I'm just going to have to wait until it crows, I guess. Look at it, just blends in with the ground. Say so pretty. And then ugly girl over there. Ugly girl. I don't even know what that one is. Scooters. And there's Scooter over there. This is my morning. They just sit and do their thing. Hunting and pecking and eating. Hey, ugly girl. What you doing? Here's my pretty blue. And of course, another plane has to come over. But anyway, I'm going to get off here and get some more gardening done. And like I said, I was just so mad and hate this when I think it should be cold. I don't know why I should think that. But anyway, I'm living in the South, in Alabama. So I'm just going to embrace this time and get as much stuff grown as I can until we hit our first frost date, which I think they were saying October 15th or something like that. So we will see. And of course my brassicas will last long into that. And then we'll continue on with my journey every day. And hope you all will follow along with me. And let me know if there's anything you want to know about on getting started gardening. I'm going to work with my granddaughter, and I might do some filming on that. Of course, that'll be in the springtime. we'll start to get that filled up, and I'll have her work on it and see if she'll stick with it. And hopefully I made an impact. And hopefully I make an impact on you all, encouraging you to do some gardening, even if it's on a small scale, even if you just have a small backyard and you're just starting out. It's never too late to learn gardening, taking care of animals, knowing where your food comes from. Because let's face it, folks, that food in the grocery store, if you can't pronounce what's on the ingredients, you don't need to be eating it. So, bread making time is coming around. I'll start making bread again whenever it gets colder or a little bit cooler. Making your own pizzas, starting out with small stuff like that, and clean out your system and clean out your and just be healthier. Just cleaning your system out and just having I don't want to say pure ingredients, but pure ingredients that we can get these days. And there's nothing more better than me breaking out a package of, let's see, what did I make last night? So I had chicken, and we did do meat birds one year. I haven't done any meat birds, but I buy the chicken from a local farm, and had teriyaki orange chicken with my onions that I grew last year, bell peppers from this year, mushrooms that I have to buy from the store, but you can't get everything. But the majority of the meal came from stuff in my backyard and from, or locally sourced, or from local farms. So thank you, folks, for joining me for a little bit on my journey. And if you like my content, please subscribe and follow me and get my subscribers up. And we'll just move on into the season and see what it brings us. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.